we have a certain amount of people that don't like the gaming issue at all, so we've got them to deal with. We also have some people that are very favorable of gaming. They have some issues with the taxation. I think something people need to understand is the reason that horse racing is in this challenge and why we had to go to HHR to help this industry is that we're competing against states that have expanded gaming. That's the bottom line here. And so when we have pari-mutuel doesn't generate near the revenue that expanded gaming does, and most of the money goes back into the industry because it's the only way we can compete. So that's all I want to say about that. But I want to tap on people that might have constitutional issues. I know in probably 15 or so years ago, there was a state, I believe it was Wyoming, that had HHR, and it was ruled illegal, but the legislature came back and passed legislation, and it became legal, and I believe they're still operating out there. My question to you, Mr. Lear, is I don't know the details of Wyoming, but did they also redefine this, and are you aware of the process they used in Wyoming, and are we following that process at all?
Actually, I do not know all the details of that. What I can relate to is the situation here, and that's what I have attended to do. Different states, there are 9 states currently operating HHR games, and there are 3 others, excuse me, in the process. Each one of them typically has a different section of their constitution, so I can't speak with authority about that particular case. I can tell you that as I said before, I only quoted part of the case, the Jockey Club case, but they said time and time again that anything but the traditional lottery games is within the police power here in Kentucky, and that's the basis upon which we're here.
Okay, and if I could just do a quick follow-up statement, and I'm done.
Very quick, because we're a
Chairman.
little over 22 minutes, so we're halfway through our 45.
Understand.
So.
I just want to reiterate that my stance is that the definition applies, and it's not about what a machine looks like. It's about how it operates and how the system's put together, and this is pari-mutuel wagering, and that's all I want to say. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I vote yes today because I trust my personal judgment when I choose to use my discretional dollars on pari-mutuel wagering. I vote yes because I trust my personal judgment when I choose to use my discretional dollars if I were to play cards or play a slot machine. I vote yes today because I trust the 98% of people that gamble that don't have addiction problems. I vote yes today because I trust that there are many Kentuckians that agree with me that the one thing that's actually missing for this bill, in my opinion, is sports wagering. And lastly, I vote yes today because I trust that the General Assembly will understand the importance of this matter and will do what we need to do to protect and preserve an industry that is vital to the heritage of this Commonwealth. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. I proudly vote yes today for the thousands of workers across this great state that are the backbone of the horse racing and equine industry. I proudly vote yes today because of personal freedom of choice and personal accountability. I gamble myself every now and then, but I hold myself accountable. I know what to spend and what not to. I proudly voted yes today as well, more than any other reason, for the legislative process that this bill went through. There's a lot of people in here that worked really hard over the last 2 weeks. There's a lot of people in this state that reached out on this issue. There's a lot of people that put a lot of work. And I'm not only talking about the winners in this bill, but the losers in this bill. There were a lot of people in this room. It was emotional. There were debates. There was a lot of swaying of their colleagues to go to one side or the other. But at the end of the day, the people were allowed to speak. And we need to be proud of that process. Because when the people are engaged, and we take the time that's necessary, Mr. Speaker, regardless of what side you're on, the process always works if we allow it to. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.